All right, so this is Kenny Santos out of Toronto, Canada for KennySantos.com. Do you want to know 3 steps that you can use to help you look a lot more professional in your network marketing business? It'll separate you from the crowd because there's just a lot of amateurs out there that's making our profession look, well, there's a stigma behind our profession, and a lot of us think it's because of the ignorance of our prospects, but let's try on the possibility that it's the behavior of us, of most of us. And if you stop acting like everyone else and instead just step up your game, you just got to do it a little bit. You're really going to separate yourself from the crowd, and you'll have the right prospects chasing after you instead of you chasing after them. And I want you to really think about this scenario for a moment. Let's say that you're trying to convince your brother or your best friend or someone that you're really close to into your business. And initially when you try to prospect them, they say no, but you decide to chase them. Now, when you chase them, there's one of 3 scenarios that are going to happen. Either it's the first scenario, you keep begging, you pleading, you try guilt, you say, you helped me move, or sorry, I helped you move, you got to try this, you got to do this for me, and they still say no. And it makes you look desperate, and it kind of puts a little bit of tension on the relationship. Or the second scenario, you beg, you plead, you use guilt, they do join, but their heart's just not in it, and they end up failing. Remember, 90+% of people that join the profession, they end up failing. And now they spent $1,500 or $3,000 or whatever. They spent a couple $1,000 to join. They end up quitting. They know that you made a commission, couple $100 from it. And now it's kind of weird between you guys two. It's kind of weird between the two of you. There's a tension there. And, during family gatherings or get-togethers, it's just not the same feeling. You've ruined the relationship. Or the third scenario, you beg, you plead, you guilt them, they do end up joining, and they hit it large. They're one of the few that really are successful in the business. They're happy they join, you're happy they join, and you live happily ever after. Now let me ask you something. What are the real chances of scenario number 3 actually happening? And if you think about it, since we know that 90+% of our prospects are going to end up failing, then the chances of number 3 happening, that they end up joining and striking it, hitting a home run, it's very slim to none. And so we don't want to chase people. We don't want to do that because that's what amateurs do. They chase, they plead, they guilt, they do all these different things, and it doesn't turn out. Even if you end up recruiting them, it doesn't turn out well. So what do you do instead? Instead, do these 3 things. 1, look for something to be impressed with in them. 2, see if they're open. And 3, invite. And make sure you hold on to the control and you remain professional throughout the whole ordeal. All right? I shouldn't say ordeal because it sounds mean, but through the whole process. All right? Again, you probably heard this before. You know what? Don't convince them, qualify them, and don't try to impress them. Instead, try to be impressed by them. Don't seek to impress, seek to be impressed. So, if you're talking to a cold market prospect or even a good friend of yours or whatever, look for something that you're impressed with. Maybe they have an awesome attitude. Maybe they're very well connected in the community and they have a big network. Or maybe they're just very ambitious. They have a hard work ethic. Now, once you find that out and you pinpoint that, the amateur network marketer is going to say, oh, you got to look at this. You'd be great at this. And they go into all this hype. We're a ground floor opportunity. We got the best product. It's scientifically proven. It's created by a Nobel Prize winner. And you're using a lot of hype. Makes you look desperate. Don't do that. Instead, first of all, point out what you're impressed with. You know what? You got a great attitude. You might be a good fit for a project we're working on. Are you at all open to looking at something if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? Now, I want you to look at the psychology on how this works here. All right. First of all, you've complimented them. Second, you haven't made any promises. All right. You said you might be a good fit. Very different in the psychology of you'd be great at this. All right. You might be a good fit. And are you even open? All right. Because that makes them kind of step up, and that's a qualification process. Either they're going to say yes, they're open, or no, they're not. And if they're not open, leave them alone. All right. Let them be. Go talk to someone else that is open. But if they are open, again, keep your cool. All right. Keep control of the whole conversation. and don't look desperate, and say something along this lines and say, you know what, we're going to be getting together and discussing something. Not sure, can't promise you anything, but do you want to be included in on the conversation? Again, very different with the amateur network marketer. And how do I know what the amateur network marketer is? Because I've done this before. Oh, you're open? After they say they're open, oh man, you got to come to this presentation. It's so cool. When you're there, you got to meet my upline. His name is Bob. He made $20,000 a month, and you're going to love this. Don't tell people they're going to love it. You don't know if they're going to love it. And so see if they want to be included in the conversation. And that invitation really allows you to look more professional, because the words that you use, things like you might be a good fit, I can't promise you anything, are you even open, those types of words and phrases make your prospect kind of want to fight. If they're the right person, they want to fight to be on your team rather than you convincing them the other way. And that really makes you look a lot more professional. You're able to stand out from the crowd a lot more strongly if you, instead of trying to impress them with hype, seek to be impressed by them. Throw it a little bait and see if they bite, and then reel them in and see if it's a good fit. All right, so I trust you got some great value out of this. I go into a little bit more detail on exactly how this works on a blog post. I'll leave a description in the post, in the description of this video. But if you want to see more videos like this, my blog is kennysantos.com. You put your name and email in, and you're going to get an awesome audio in growing your business. And remember this: every day, multiple times a day, the universe sends us miracles. And we just got to do two things. We got to recognize those miracles, and we got to accept those miracles. All right, take care and create a great day.